Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2022. Today, we are going to plan. I'm going to show you the bare bones and the structure of how I go about it and why I believe it is so good to do. And lastly, what I'll do is I will look back at my 2021 plan, the video up here, that I go into more detail about how I plan, more of the process of how I go about it, and it really breaks down of steps 1, step 2, step 3. This video is more about, I assume that you understand the steps that I do, and this is just kind of a high level renewal Coles Notes version of that video. So if you want the details, click there. Well, let's get started. So planning. Who likes it? Well, in most cases, planning is just a so-so kind of job. You're either planning to do something or you're going away or something like that. But this is probably the most important plan you'll ever plan for. I like to do it because it's a time that I get to daydream. I get to visualize what it is that I want out of this next year. And I do big goals and I do very achievable goals, and they're mixed into different categories. Yearly goal planning, again, it's supposed to be a fun thing, and it's never supposed to be something that you should take in a negative way, even if you don't achieve it. I'm going to share with you some of the things that I didn't achieve and kind of my attitudes towards not achieving a goal. Again, this year, some of the tools I used starting, I think it was Boxing Day that I started to really think about this new year and what I wanted out of it. I reached for my trusty notebook, and I've done it for a few years in this particular book. And I always love to start with of course, my cover page and doodling with the year and the number. But I also like to start out with a quote that's inspiring me or has been on my mind the past few months and is making an impact on my life. This year, I'll share with you the quote is the Daring Greatly quote. So again, this year I used the whole category process of family, relationships, creative, my work and career, and my health. I will share with you that for the first time, I think ever, my health is number 1 this year, as it came in front of work and career. And, of course, family and relationships are, I feel, the most important part of one's life. And this is the first year that I'm putting myself before work and career. I think this is a beautiful thing about the 40s and 50s. You really get into this very secure, confident position about work and career, and I know it will just take care of itself, and so I don't have to obsess as much as I have. And I mean, I did have to obsess about it in years past because I had to either continue education, I was working towards the designation, or whatever the case may be. But now I'm at a point where that's settled. I do have goals in that area, but they're not more important this year than my health and myself, which is awesome. So I doodled art and I put a heart around myself. So that's good. And you know what? Some of that health and wellness I'm going to be happy to bring to the channel because I'm already doing certain things for this goal that I think are important to share. You make sure you have a balance in all of those categories, and you may have different categories, but I think for the most part, majority of people would have similar buckets. So say for example, like the amount of books I read I would slot into my creative and my intellect portion. I was thinking about taking up the piano. I started when COVID first started, but I've let it go, and I kind of want to get that back. I do see and hear people that have incorporated learning how to play an instrument during COVID, and now, at first we didn't think it was going to last that long, the pandemic, but now, gee, I could have been a pretty good piano player if I would have kept up with that. So So that I'm still very interested in it because I think that is I think it's creative and it's intellect because I think it's utilizing a different part of my brain, which is always good. Because your goals are very personal. Of course, we won't get into my goals. I write mine. I do different colored pens and I write mine. But the two apps, my computer, my cell phone, share an app. The app that of choice that I use to collect data, to-do lists and things like this is Notion. Notion is a great repository for, ideas and planning. Quite a robust application. So, and I'm sure I'm not using it even to half of the extent that it could be used. I mean, I have high-level notes on each one of my goals. I'll go into Notion like I did last year, and I'll share one of my goals last year was to do my mudroom. I have 3 videos that you can go to my channel and see my process of planning and then implementing it. In Notion, I had collected pictures, comments, budgeting. I had a whole page dedicated to planning my mudroom, so it's really great for that. Secondly, I use Pinterest, of course. I don't do a physical vision board. I do a Pinterest private board because there's every picture on Pinterest that you can imagine. Example, last year I had pictures of beautiful mudrooms within that board and a picture for relating to each one of my goals. When I would go into Pinterest to look up something else, I would see my board and I would go and reacquaint myself with those visions. And I think it's just another medium where you get to see and visualize. Now let's look back on some of the things that I talked about and see how successful I was last year. Okay, I start and I certainly give you a lot more details than I did on this video. And if you need those details about planning yearly goals, go to that video. But after that, I talk a lot about Wim Hof. Well, guess what? I did stick to that goal. I did Wim Hof. Certainly at that time, I had just read the book, his book. It was right in my headspace at that time. I'm happy to say that I really love Wim Hof breathing. I know there's even other breathing methods, and I would say any kind of breathing method to help you kind of focus and center is fantastic. Yeah, I felt a difference. I still love it and still do it. Next. Okay, I talk about some of my workouts, and I did my workout page and I showed that last year. So I did keep this by my in my office, and I would go back and just update my tracking page. So this is this year. So anyway, I've started it and I'm just going to color in, but I'm actually this year going to letter legend. So instead of blackening the square for my body movement or meditation, I'm going to actually write the letters, what it looked like because it was blank, but So my goal last year was 200 out of 365 days, and my number, I calculated it. The other thing that I noted is books that I read. So I had a goal last year of only six books. Well, guess what? I read 12, and that was both audio. I did about 4 audio, and about 8 physical books. So that was good. So this year, my goal is 12 books. Where I failed is my social media, my whole, I feel like this whole channel and Instagram and TikTok, I feel like they are in a creative outlet for that bucket, and my intellect, because I've certainly had to teach myself how to edit. I didn't do as well on really expanding my social media, or I did actually succeed at my goal for YouTube though, which is so great. So thank you. I did very well on YouTube as far as my personal goal went. So that's kind of my attitude when I don't succeed at a goal. It's like you wake up the next day and it's a new day and we move on and we try. And that's how you should, really, your attitude should be super flexible with yourself, and you shouldn't be down on yourself because you didn't get something done. Life is life, and we all do our best and we try, and that's really what the important part of this is. You want to believe, you plan it, and you do your best to achieve it. And if you don't, well, there was probably reasons why you didn't, but it still doesn't mean that this year you plan again. Maybe it stays on that same goal, maybe it changes in some way, but you've made your best effort. That's interesting. The last part of my video, I talk about Glennon Doyle, and her main message is live your true and best life and most beautiful life. And this is what planning is. That is all that it is you trying to achieve certain things in your personal, your creative, your relationships, and your career. And how there's that saying, speak it, believe it, and it. This is a way for me to really focus kind of a visualized goals for my life, for my family, and the impact to all of my relationships. I think it's good to just center yourself in this early January. And I know this to be true and good because I've lived this and I have seen certain successes in life. I seem to continue to progress in spite of setbacks in my life and some of the things that could have put me off the path to moving forward. Okay, everyone, that's all the video is today. If you remember to like and subscribe, tell some people, help me achieve some of my goals on social media. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.